All right, I'm back. We're here. Let's chit chat about books. What do you want? Attention? Do you want me to unblock the window? Do you want to just? You're so good. Hi kids. It's been a while because I took an accidental month-long break from recording. I do this for fun, and when we run out of time to do fun things, we don't get to do them. Winnie's going to sit on the air conditioning vent for us, which will hopefully muffle some of the sound. It is over 100 degrees Fahrenheit outside. We have our icy coffee situation that's helping keep us cool as a cucumber. But also, if you're a thick girl like Winnie is and built for the Arctic temperatures, you have to sit on the air conditioning vent to get its full effects. We are here to do a recent reads. Why? Because if I wait too long, it's too many books and it's overwhelming. So I like to do this while it's whelming, which is not the correct usage of that word, but I'm going to keep using it like that because it rolls off my tongue. Like how it feels. I've been reading some books. Let's talk about them. The first book we're going to talk about is The Starving Saints. This is a book that the algorithm started feeding me immediately. The algorithm gods were throwing this on my plate saying, girl, eat up. So I actually had read a book from this author previously, went on NetGalley, requested the ARC, and was blessed with the ARC's arrival and devoured this. I'm a big fan of medieval type horror, that historical medieval fantasy laced horror, and that is exactly what this is. This is a story of cannibalism dipped in honey. This is a story of all of these people starving to death with the background music being the hum of bees. This is these people in a desperate, dire situation, and then the world tilts and gets crazy. This is the story of three characters, all three being women of different positions, who are stuck inside a keep during a siege. So everybody is stuck inside of this walled city where resources are running very, very thin as the enemies wait outside. Our three characters include the right hand to the king, who is also trapped here during the siege. She is a knight. She is all loyalty and chivalry and honor. We also have a servant who has a mysterious past. So someone that is one of the invisible within the keep, who is also suffering from the lack of resources. And last but not least, our mad woman. She is of a religious order that resides in this keep, but has separated herself. She's gone a different path and is considered like a mad woman, like a mystic, like a witch by these people. She's embraced this other part of herself, and the people of the religion, the nuns of this religion, have kind of shunned her. She is her own thing. She was referred to as the mad woman. In the opening of this story, she has already performed one miracle. She has given the keep access to clean water because they were running really low on water. She found a way to purify the water they already had. So she is once again visited by the king and all the people in charge, and they're like, we need food. You need to figure out how to get it to us. So she is panicking because she needs to make food for all of the people trapped inside of this keep, but how, what, where? She has to like draw on these wild and crazy ways that she figures out these problems. I had a great time with this. I had no idea what direction it was going to go in, but this book was right up my alley. Medieval, fantasy-ish, just awful horror with these like females in the lead, impossible decisions that you need to make, survival, keeping secrets. I had a great time. And thank you for the ARC. I hope your pillow is always the correct and preferred temperature on both sides. The next book I picked up after that was Don't Let the Forest In. I picked this book up because I saw everyone really, truly enjoying it. I've heard people call it like eco horror or natural horror, but it is a horror that involves natural elements, whether that be forest or moss or mold or mushrooms. Those things work for me in horror. This is also YA and has a slight dark academia, slight like baby, just like just a touch of dark academia. And I had a great time with this book. This is the story of Andrew, and we open this story with him arriving at his very fancy boarding school. His father is dropping him and his twin sister off. We know from the opening that something happened last year. We don't know what it is. Andrew doesn't seem to know what it is, but something happened which changed the atmosphere of the school and also changed how everyone viewed Andrew and his sister. We have Andrew's best friend Thomas, who is the one person in the world that Andrew really connects with. And Thomas shows up at school dirty, disheveled, with blood under his nails, and something has happened to Thomas as well. We have these two characters, Andrew and Thomas, although we are always in Andrew's perspective. They're soulmates. They're friends, they're soulmates. Andrew is in love with Thomas, but Andrew is asexual and dealing with what that means for not only himself, but for relationships. He's really struggling with who he is because he's a high school student. He's a high school senior. And we have this atmosphere of this prestigious boarding school where it just so happens that monsters are climbing over the fence and entering the school, and Thomas and Andrew have to do something about it. Andrew is a writer of stories. He writes these really macabre fairy tales, and Thomas is an artist and he illustrates the fairy tales that Andrew writes. This was beautiful and dark. There's a lot of longing. There's a lot of gross plant horror, just monsters coming over the fence. This is YA, so although it does get a little spooky, it never gets too wild, and I really enjoyed this and ended up immediately looking to see what else this author had available. If any of that interests you, don't let the forest in. It's worth a read. The next book I picked up after that was First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. I have had a lot of luck with B.K. Borison books. The way this author writes romance is the way I like my romance to be. B.K. Borison is the author of the Lovelight Farm series, which starts off with Lovelight Farms, which is a friends to lovers story that takes place on a Christmas tree farm. And although I enjoy that book, I think it's the weakest in the entire series. We then go on to follow more characters that work at Lovelight Farms in subsequent books. The books get stronger and stronger. I love the small town. I love all the characters. I love Lovelight Farms as a series. And so when I saw this author had a new series coming out, I jumped and added to cart. This series is actually following, well, I should say this series is inspired by a bunch of rom-coms from the 80s and 90s that you will recognize. This first book in the series is inspired by Sleepless in Seattle, which I've never watched and is a crime. I mean, I'm sure maybe at some point in my life I've seen it. I know the premise. I need to remedy this. The fact that I have not seen a classic rom-com at my ancient age is a little embarrassing. This is the story of Lou, and she one night hears her 12-year-old daughter talking to someone on the phone way too late at night. She busts up in there and she's like, "Hey girl, who are you talking to? It is nighttime. Is that a man? Are you joining a cult? What is going on here?" Well, Lou's daughter was actually talking to a radio host, Aiden Valentine, who runs a radio show / podcast where he talks about relationships, gives a relationship advice. Basically, it's like a love story type radio show. When Lou's daughter called in because she wants her mom to have a love life. So Lou and Aiden end up having a conversation on the air about what Lou wants from a relationship. This goes stupid viral. Just absolutely stupid viral. So the radio show approaches Lou and says, "Hey, let's make this into a thing. Why don't you come on the show and we'll find you love?" So Lou and Aiden end up spending a lot of time together trying to find Lou the love. And you guessed it, the feelings start happening. I really enjoyed this. Do I think it's perfect? No, didn't have to be though. There is a lot of emotional weight that B.K. Borison can put in their books without you feeling too bogged down. They have those moments where your eyes get a little misty, where you feel that hit in the chest, but you never feel like emotionally destroyed by anything that happens. These two people are not perfect. They've been through some things and they have to work through those things to deal with the feelings. Spicy things happen. Sleepless in Seattle. I really enjoyed this. The second book in this series, the cover has already been released. Look at it. It's amazing. It is going to be a When Harry Met Sally, which I know I have seen, but it's been a long time. That is going to be the inspiration, the loose inspiration for this book as well. We've been introduced to one of these characters in this book. We have also heard of the other character, and I'm really looking forward to it because I like B.K. Borison romance books. That's all I really need to say. The next book I picked up after that was Swift and Saddled, and this was me continuing on with the Rebel Blue Cowboy Romance series. This is the second book, but I skipped it. I went 1, 3, 2, 4 because I like to blaze my own path. I'm an original type girl. Really, I was just reading them in order of interest I had of the different books. This is the story of Wes. He is another brother in this family that we were following in this series, and he receives the name of an interior designer from a friend of his. Well, she's in the book. We meet Teddy. That's not important. Someone gives him the name of an interior designer that they feel would be perfect for a project that Wes is taking on. And we meet Ada, whose life somewhat exploded not too long ago. She's trying to get back on her feet. She's an interior designer. She comes into town. While at a bar, she sees a super dreamy cowboy who just happens to have an adorable dog. They make eyeballs at each other. And the next day, when she shows up to start work on the project, she realizes super dreamy cowboy is actually her boss, Wes. These two are dealing with the feelings they have for each other while also trying to be professional and continue to make Wes's dream of this project come true, to make Ada's dream of her life having some sort of direction happen for her, but also feelings and stuff. It's cute, it's sweet, it takes place in a beautiful ranch in Wyoming. It wasn't my favorite in the series, but I'm definitely not upset that I read it. The next book I picked up after that was The 10. This is the memoir of E.A. Hanks, who just happens to be Tom Hanks's daughter. And if your first response to me saying that is, Tom Hanks has a daughter, you're not alone. That was literally what this author said in one of their interviews, is that a lot of the times people just go, wait, what? She is from Tom Hanks's first marriage, so she is the full sister to Colin Hanks, who is also an actor, and has 2 younger half-brothers from Tom Hanks's second current marriage. She grew up in a situation where she spent most of her time with her mother, and then she went back and forth to her father. And this is really a memoir of her recreating a road trip that she took with her mother when she was about 14 or 15, now as an adult, trying to reconnect and just really reflect on the relationship she had with her mother, because her mother is a tumultuous character. She has some sort of undiagnosed mental disorder, illness. She was a complicated character, raising 2 children in this complicated household, where our author would either be neglected or abused and then get over to her father's house where they would have family dinners and be very picturesque family. Just the dichotomy of that, but also eventually her mother lost custody of her because of abuse and she goes to live with her father. And then not too long after that, her mother passed away. So she's trying to reconnect understand her mother while on this road trip across a portion of the United States. I don't really rate nonfiction unless I feel like it's very poorly done. This was absolutely fine. It was easy to listen to. The author narrates the audiobook. It was this person traveling across parts of the United States, seeing the culture and the food and the different histories, whether that be good or bad, of these places, and also reflecting on parts of her life. Do I think this had any big revelations? Not necessarily, but I also feel like this was just kind of the author working through some stuff while also on a road trip. I think if you pick this up wanting to find some sensational big thing where you find out Tom Hanks is an awful father, you won't. You won't. He's exactly what you think he is. He's a good dad, and he tried for years to get his 2 children into a better situation, but it was hard. And he, to this day, has a close relationship with his children. It's easy. It's something that if you just want to listen to a road trip memoir, it's a decent one, That's all I have to really say about that. The next book I picked up after that was Eat the Ones You Love. I picked this up again because I'm a huge fan of botanical natural horror, and obviously from the cover, that's what we were about to get. This was okay. I think this felt like a little bit of Little Shop of Horrors, but trying to make it a little more millennial core. It meandered a lot until it didn't. It moved really slow until it didn't, but I didn't feel like the tension built well enough for me to truly enjoy this. Also, the ending, I kept reading reviews where people were talking about the ending of this, just I can't stop thinking about this ending. I couldn't stop thinking about the ending because I have no idea how I was supposed to feel about it. There's an ending, and then there's an ending credits scene, and I was like, what Like, what even was that? What are we talking about? What is this metaphor? This is the story of Shell, and she is a young woman who doesn't really know where she was going in life. She had the picture perfect version of what everyone thinks you're supposed to, or what she thinks everyone thinks you're supposed to have. The relationship, the nice apartment, the good job. And then all of that just kind of ends, and she ends up moving back home and taking a job in a flower shop in a mall near her home that is slowly dying. This is the last shopping center in this vast residential area. It is the last third place is what we'll call it. And if you know about the third place, because you've been on the internet like I have, a lot of places, especially in the US, are losing their third place. This is the place where the grocery store is, where the post office is, where the library is, where you go to buy clothes and shoes and books and stationery and flowers. But it's been left to rot. The floors and the walls and everything's kind of crumbling. And there is this looming worry that the mall is going to be shut down. Well, Shell walks into this flower shop after seeing a help wanted sign, and she meets Nev, who is the owner of this flower shop. She takes a job and she gets wrapped up in this secret thing that Nev is doing with a sentient plant in the mall. Little Shop of Horrors. We have an Audrey too. I felt like you spend a lot of time just hanging out with these people while something very sinister is happening in the background. It didn't feel, I don't know, this just didn't work for me. There was just something missing. I didn't hate it. It felt very, very slow. But I wouldn't write this author off completely. Also, this cover is amazing, and I'm really sad that this is like not a new favorite. And the last book we're going to talk about is actually a short story from one of Amazon's 1.5 million short story collections that you can find on Kindle Unlimited. I just wanted something fast. Catriona Ward had a story in one of those collections. I like Catriona Ward books, so I picked up Night and Day in Misery and didn't really end up liking this, which was unfortunate, but I did finish it because it was incredibly short. This is the story of a mother who is traveling to stay at a hotel room where years prior, this was the last place her husband and son stayed before they passed away. So she has lost all of her entire family in one foul swoop. So now she is traveling to this place to reconnect, commiserate, travel down a very dark path. I just didn't care for it. I was bored. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I was bored. I didn't really understand what was happening. There is sort of like a supernatural element. I didn't really understand it. I didn't care, which is kind of mean to say, but I just didn't care. I would definitely pick up other Catriona Ward books. I've liked everything else I've read from this author. This just didn't work for me, and maybe they're just not someone that I enjoy in short form. But that, kids, is where we are going to end this recent reads. Winnie is passed out on the air conditioner, and Cheese, I don't think I even told you. She's back there in the cheese spot where she always is. I hope you're staying cool wherever you are if you're having crazy summer temperatures like we are. I hope you're reading good books out there wherever you are, and I'd love to hear about them. I hope you had fun hanging out with me and the dogs, and if you did, why not give us a cheeky little subscribe, you know? And I'll see you next time.